Good morning, students. In this session, we will continue the topic periodic classification of elements with the subtopic isoelectronic species. Isoelectronic species. Isoelectronic species means atoms, ions or molecules. Atoms, ions or molecules which possess same number of electrons. Atoms, ions or molecules having same number of electrons. Atoms, ions or molecules having same number of electrons are called as isoelectronic species. Now, for example, if you consider carbide C power minus 4, carbide C power minus 4, nitride N power minus 3, oxide, fluoride, neon atom, sodium ion, magnesium ion, aluminum ion, so on. See, atomic number of carbon is 6 plus 4 electrons, extra electrons were gained. So, totally 10 electrons. Number of electrons, total number of electrons are 10. 7 plus 3, 10 electrons. 8 plus 2, 10 electrons. 9 plus 1, 10 electrons. It is basically with 10 atomic number. Out of 11, 1 electron is lost, 10 electrons. Out of 12, 2 were lost, 10 and 10. They may ask a question about this like which is smaller in size, which is larger in size, etc. So, among isoelectronic species, I can give you two lines to identify the larger and smaller one. With increase in positive charge, radius decreases. It may be any radius, atomic radius or ionic radius, whatever it is. Radius decreases. And with increase in negative charge, obviously negative charge means anions. Okay. With increase in negative charge, radius increases. Okay. Positive charge means it is, we can understand it is with reference to cations. This is for anions, right? And obviously we have learned in the previous session, size of a cation is smaller than its parent atom, size of an anion is larger than its parent atom, right? So, these are the points. Or another shortcut is there. With increase in atomic number, radius decreases. This is another shortcut. With increase in atomic number, radius decreases. This is also we can remember. So, let us apply this point. With increase in atomic number, radius decreases. Carbon 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. See, with increase in atomic number, their size is decreasing. Have you noticed? Yes or no? So, this point is valid. Similarly, with increase in positive charge, as positive charge is increasing, what does it mean? Outer electrons are getting lowered, but inner nuclear charge remains the same. When nuclear charge is dominating, it attracts the less numbered electrons more strongly. Those electrons comes closer and the size decreases. So, with increase in positive charge, radius decreases. See, they are becoming smaller. With increase in negative charge, radius increases. See, with increase in negative charge, radius is increasing. So, on this particular point, few questions may be asked. So, apply these shortcuts. See, our next topic is ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy, which is given as delta H ionization, right? Ionization enthalpy. Actually, it's a measure of ability of an atom to lose electrons. Ionization enthalpy is a measure of ability of an atom to lose electrons. See, less ionization enthalpy means it can more readily lose electrons. That's what it means. Now, let us go through the definition. It is nothing but the minimum amount of energy required to remove the most loosely held electron, from the outermost orbit, of an isolated gaseous neutral atom, in its ground state. So it must be clearly specified. All these points must be clearly specified here. See, minimum amount of energy required, energy is required. See here, energy is required or released. Usually that question comes after some time. Nucleus is attracting all the electrons around itself, right? So electrons were strongly held. See, suppose I am nucleus. This chalk piece is an electron. I am holding this electron by some nuclear attraction. This electron was held to me. Suppose if someone want to, see when I am holding this electron like this, if someone want to take this electron, they have to spend some energy, yes or no, because otherwise they cannot take this out of my hold. Yes, as this electron is under my influence, my hold, for someone else to remove this particular species, they need to spend some energy, means they require some energy to remove this electron. This is practical thing. And one more point is, when electron possesses some energy around the nucleus, when electron is existing, it is with some energy. In the structure of atom we studied, it is held up with some energy to the nucleus. To remove this electron and out of influence of the nucleus, the same amount of energy which it possesses must be supplied. The same amount of energy that was possessed by this electron must be supplied to remove the electron completely out of its nuclear influence. That amount of energy required to remove an electron is called as its ionization enthalpy. So ionization enthalpy is nothing but minimum amount of energy required to remove an electron, to remove the most loosely held electron from the outermost orbit of an isolated means it should not be in contact with any other atom. First point. Gaseous, it should be in gaseous state. Next, neutral atom, it should not be charged. Then only whatever the energy required to remove that particular electron in its ground state is called as ionization enthalpy or first ionization enthalpy. In fact, ionization enthalpy is also called as first ionization enthalpy. First ionization enthalpy. It is also given in some notations, they give it as I1, ionization enthalpy 1. Suppose M is a gaseous atom, isolated and neutral. It is neutral, gaseous, ground state. It is in the ground state. Means electrons were not in excited state. That is the condition. Then, if you apply some energy, if you spend some energy, if you give some energy to the electron, most loosely held electron of this M, then that electron will come out of the nuclear influence and M become M plus gaseous ion. This is a unipositive ion. Okay? It is a unipositive ion. Now, whatever the energy required to remove an electron in this way from the outermost orbit of an isolated gaseous neutral atom in its ground state is called as its first ionization enthalpy. See, actually, suppose M has some energy. We need to study the notation also. Anyhow, we are going to study in thermodynamics. Suppose M energy is 100. Energy of M is 100. When you supply some energy, what will be the energy of M plus? More than 100, no? Conceptually, if you observe the thing. So, what is energy change? Enthalpy change, it is called as enthalpy change. Enthalpy change is high energy of products minus low energy of reactants. So, it will be coming with what sign? High value minus low value. It will be coming with a positive sign. So, always ionization enthalpy is always ionization enthalpy ionization enthalpy is always with a positive sign, if you observe this in this way. So delta H of ionization or ionization enthalpy, it is called as ionization enthalpy, always comes with a positive sign because energy is required to remove an electron. It is absorption process. Removal of electron is an absorption process. So once again, the minimum amount of energy required to remove the most loosely held electron from the outermost orbit of an isolated gaseous neutral atom is said to be, in its ground state, is said to be its first ionization enthalpy. So we have formed a unipositive ion. Now I want to remove one more electron from this. Okay, from a unipositive ion, suppose M plus gas, a unipositive ion. Now from this I want to remove one more electron. Still, even in this case also energy is required because electrons were still held to the nucleus. So we have to supply some energy to this so that an electron can be removed, giving M plus plus, because 2 electrons are removed so far, that's why. M plus plus gaseous, this is a dipositive ion. It's a dipositive ion. Now my question is, what is this amount of energy called as? It is called as I2, second ionization enthalpy, or delta H IE2. When this is called as IE1, this is called as IE2. Even this is also positive. Even this energy required is also positive, because here also absorption only, by absorption only electron is coming out. When it absorbs energy, then only electron will come out of that. Understood? So that is also positive. Now we have to concentrate one more point. Among the first ionization enthalpy value and second ionization enthalpy value, whose value will be high? Whose value will be high? Yes, tell me. We can predict it easily. In a unipositive ion, electrons, number of electrons are less than the nuclear charge. Number of electrons are less than the nuclear charge. Yes or no? So nuclear charge is dominating, so electrons were more strongly held to the nucleus. To remove an electron from such a unipositive ion, obviously more energy is required than required to remove from a neutral atom. To remove more strongly held electrons in a unipositive ion, more amount of energy is required than the energy required to remove electron from a neutral atom. Okay, as these electrons are relatively more strongly held to the nucleus, they need more energy to come out of that influence. That's why first ionization enthalpy is always less than second, obviously which is less than third, which is less than fourth, so on. So this is how the ionization enthalpy values varies. First ionization enthalpy is less than second, less than third, less than fourth, so on. You may get a doubt now. Sir, how many ionization enthalpy values are possible theoretically? Theoretically, number of ionization potential values, ionization enthalpy values possible for an atom, isolated gaseous neutral atom, is equal to its atomic number. How many electrons it possesses, those many ionization enthalpies we can discuss. So number of ionization potential values or ionization enthalpy values possible for an atom is equal to its atomic number. Okay. Now this is how we can study about ionization enthalpy. Now our next topic is how to predict this, how to predict the variation of this ionization enthalpy across a period and down the group. When it comes to the factors influencing ionization potential, when it comes to factors influencing ionization potential or ionization enthalpy, or ionization enthalpy, numerically there is no change in, there is no difference actually. Factors influencing ionization enthalpy or ionization potential. First factor was atomic size. Second factor is effective nuclear charge. Effective nuclear charge. And third factor is shielding or screening effect. Shielding or screening effect. And fourth factor, it is penetrating power. Penetrating power of orbitals or corresponding electrons. And fifth one is stable electronic configuration. stable electronic configuration. So these are the factors that influence ionization potential. So first one is atomic size. Let us discuss the first factor, that is atomic size. See, size is smaller. Suppose you are given with a small atom, a larger atom and a smaller atom. So in case, predict among a larger atom and smaller atom which possess a high ionization enthalpy, which needs high energy for the removal of electron, which requires more energy, in which case more energy is required for the removal of electron in case of larger atom or smaller atom. So we can say electrons actually, it depends on the attraction, the way electrons were attracted to the nucleus, right? When the size is larger, distance between the nucleus and the electron will be more. So their attraction also will be relatively less than the atoms with small size, because distance between the nucleus and electron is less. Electrons were strongly held to the nucleus. Obviously, when they were strongly held, to remove such a strongly held electron, more energy is required. So, smaller the size, more is the ionization enthalpy. Larger the size, less is the ionization enthalpy. So, larger the size, less IP, ionization enthalpy, smaller the size, more. So, it is inversely proportional. So, we can say ionization enthalpy is inversely proportional to atomic size or atomic radius. Ionization potential or ionization enthalpy is inversely proportional to atomic size or atomic radius. Now, when it comes to the second factor, see, actually with respect to this only, we can easily predict the variation of size, variation of ionization enthalpy across a period and down the group. Now, second one is, we can have an example also even here. Suppose fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Size is increasing. With increase in size, ionization potential decreases. That's why from fluorine to iodine, ionization enthalpy decreases. Suppose sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, like this, the atomic size is decreasing in this way. So when the atomic size decreases, obviously we expect the ionization potential to increase, right? Let us discuss these applications after finishing the factors. So there is an anomaly in this case, it means among these positioned elements. So we will discuss the next factor that affects the ionization enthalpy, that is effective nuclear charge. Effective nuclear charge. So suppose consider two atoms which are of a comparable atomic radius, suppose. Now in case this nuclear charge is less and this nuclear charge is more. When nuclear influence is more, electrons were strongly held to the nucleus, yes or no? Electrons were strongly held to the nucleus. When nuclear charge is less, electrons were relatively weakly held to the nucleus. So as they are weakly held, less energy is enough to remove an electron, whereas here as electron is strongly held, more energy is required to remove such a strongly held electron. So more the nuclear charge, more is the ionization potential, less the nuclear charge, less is the ionization potential. So ionization enthalpy is directly proportional to nuclear charge or effective nuclear charge. Ionization potential is inversely proportional to atomic size and directly proportional to nuclear charge. When it comes to the third factor, that is shielding or screening effect. Shielding or screening effect. See, consider an atom in which between nucleus and electron only two shells were there. Only two shells were there. In another atom, between nucleus and electron, suppose there were 4 shells. My question is, in which case nuclear attraction is more effectively stopped by the inner electrons? These are all filled with electrons, of course. These are also filled with electrons. In which case nuclear attraction is more effectively stopped or screened or shielded by the inner electrons. More the number of inner shells, more is the shielding effect. Yes or no? When shielding effect is more, electron is weakly held. to the nucleus. As here less shielding effect is there, electron is strongly held to the nucleus. So in which case more energy is required for the removal of electron? As the shielding effect is less, ionization enthalpy is, shielding effect is less, electron is strongly held to the nucleus, required ionization enthalpy is high. Ionization enthalpy is high. Whereas here shielding effect is more. Electron is weakly held, the required ionization potential is less. So less the shielding effect, more is the ionization enthalpy, more the shielding effect, less is the ionization enthalpy. So what's the relation we can give for this shielding effect? See, I am writing here, ionization enthalpy is inversely proportional to shielding effect or screening effect. This is the third relation we have developed. First relation is ionization enthalpy is inversely proportional to atomic size. Next is ionization potential is directly proportional to nuclear charge. Third one is ionization potential is inversely proportional to shielding or screening effect. And the next factor that influences the ionization potential is penetrating power. Penetrating power of electron with respect to orbitals. Orbitals cannot penetrate, no, electrons in a particular orbital can penetrate. See, you know that shape of s orbital is spherical. S orbital is spherical in shape. Spherical, not circular. There is a difference between sphere and circle, right? And shape of p orbital is dumbbell, shape of d orbital is double dumbbell, and shape of f orbital is four-fold dumbbell. Four-fold dumbbell means so many lobes will be there. It is very complex to picturize it on the board, right? Now, among these four orbitals, an electron present in s electron has more chances to move towards the nucleus, to penetrate towards the nucleus. So, as it is spherically symmetric, it has more chances, more penetrating power will be shown by an s electron. So, penetrating power of s electron is greater than p electron, because a p electron can penetrate either along x axis or along y axis or along z axis. Only three possibilities are there. Likewise, because of the dispersed shape, d orbital has still less penetrating power. D electron has less penetrating power than f is anyhow poor penetrating power because of its complex shape. So, penetrating power of an s electron is greater than p electron, greater than d electron, greater than f electron. Yes or no? Now, with respect to this, suppose an atom has an electron in s orbital, another atom has an electron in p orbital. So, among these two electrons, which require more energy for removal, an s electron, as it is more penetrated towards the nucleus, it needs more ionization enthalpy for removal than a p electron, low ionization enthalpy it possesses, because relatively less penetrated towards the nucleus. Therefore, ionization enthalpy of an s electron is greater than p electron, greater than d electron, greater than f electron. When it comes to the next factor that influences ionization potential, that is stable electronic configuration. Stable electronic configuration. Stable electronic configuration means we know that half filled or completely filled orbitals, half filled or completely filled orbitals gives stability to the atom. Half filled or completely filled orbitals gives stability to atoms. Therefore, atoms with either half filled or completely filled electronic configuration, follow the notation, half filled or completely filled electronic configuration possess high ionization enthalpy. Atoms having half filled or completely filled electronic configuration possess higher ionization enthalpy than the other atoms which do not have such a stable electronic configuration. For example, if you consider beryllium and not beryllium, better we take nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. C2s2 2p3. This is half filled electronic configuration, and actually nitrogen is larger in size than oxygen. When it comes to oxygen 8, whose configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4, 1s2, 2s2, 2p4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not having any stable half filled electronic configuration. So even though oxygen is smaller, actually we have a relation. Actually, ionization enthalpy is inverse to atomic size or atomic radius. You remember that? Just now we discussed, right? Ionization enthalpy is inverse to atomic radius. Smaller the radius, more is the ionization potential. Oxygen is smaller than nitrogen, so ionization potential of oxygen should be high. But because of stable half filled electronic configuration, ionization potential of nitrogen is greater than that of oxygen due to stable half filled electronic configuration. Due to stable half filled electronic configuration. Okay. Let us see the trends of atomic ionization potential or ionization enthalpy across a period. Trends of ionization potential. Trends of ionization potential. See, of course, it depends on ionization potential or ionization enthalpy. Of course, this trend of ionization enthalpy depends on atomic radius. So, if you study atomic radius, means we can study ionization enthalpy trend. Right. Let us see across a period. Across a period, how the size varies. In any given period, which element is of large size? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In any given period, 1A group element is of larger size, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, and this is 7A. Means alkali metal, first group, second group, this is 13th group, 14th group, 15th group, 16th and 17th. Suppose if you want to study second and third period elements, suppose. So, example, you take third period. What are third period elements? Hydrogen, lithium, sodium. Sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine. In that way. Now, this is how their size varies. This is how their atomic size varies. Next, argon is relatively larger than 17th group element, because for noble gases, what type of radius we are considering? Non-bonding radius, which cannot be actually compared with the bonding radius of the remaining representative elements. Their non-bonding radius can be compared with van der Waals radius. That is a proper comparison. But still, even with the non-bonding radius also, even with van der Waals radius also, it was observed that noble gases are relatively larger in size. Now, in any given period, larger size will be from alkali metal and smaller size will be from halogens, 17th group elements. So, according to this atomic size trend, how the ionization enthalpy varies? Tell me. As atomic size decreases, as atomic radius decreases, ionization enthalpy increases. Obviously, because ionization enthalpy is inversely proportional to atomic radius. We studied this. As atomic radius decreases, ionization enthalpy increases. So, which should have highest ionization enthalpy and lowest ionization enthalpy in any given period? Therefore, in any given period, low ionization enthalpy will be from alkali metal, because larger in size, larger the size, less is the ionization enthalpy. As alkali metal is always larger in any given period, low ionization enthalpy belongs to alkali metal and high ionization enthalpy belongs to 17th group element. Right? This is what we expect because of the size, small size. But here, this point is wrong. You know why? Even though this is larger than noble gas is argon, suppose if third period elements are considered, even though argon is larger than 17th group element, its ionization potential is more than expected because of stable, completely filled electronic configuration. Understood? So, even though this is smaller, highest ionization potential will be shown, more than this ionization potential will be shown by the argon because of its stable half-filled electronic configuration. So it is not 17th group, it is 0 group element. Understood? So that's why I am writing first the relation. With respect to relation, everyone will answer this. But in practice, the noble gas will be with the highest ionization enthalpy. Because of what factor? Stable, completely filled electronic configuration. There is one more point we need to notice. So according to this trend, sodium should have less ionization potential than magnesium, than aluminum, than silicon, than phosphorus, than sulfur, than chlorine, than argon. So this should be the sequence, right? But here there are some anomalies. Magnesium and aluminum, there is some anomaly, and phosphorus and sulfur, there is also here also some anomalies there. What is that anomaly? What's that unusual trend observed in these two cases? Unusual trend observed in these two cases. Here, actually, aluminum is smaller. Aluminum is smaller than magnesium, so it should have more ionization enthalpy, right? But ionization enthalpy of magnesium is greater than that of aluminum. This is not a proper sequence. Ionization enthalpy of magnesium is greater than that of aluminum. Similarly, ionization potential, ionization enthalpy of phosphorus is greater than that of sulfur. Why? Why this is happening? Why ionization potential in these two cases is varying? Already we discussed. Let us discuss them once again. Here, magnesium electronic configuration is 1s2 and 2s2. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s2. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s2. It has a paired electron in a more penetrating s orbital. Magnesium has a paired electron in a more penetrating s orbital. So they were more closely held to the nucleus, which needs more energy for removal. Relatively, aluminum has unpaired electrons. See, what is the configuration of aluminum? 3s2, 3p1. It has one unpaired electron. Aluminum has unpaired electron in a less penetrating p orbital. Therefore, ionization enthalpy of magnesium is greater than that of aluminum. Of course, first ionization enthalpy. This is all about first ionization enthalpy only. Next, when it comes to the next case, that is ionization enthalpy of phosphorus is greater than sulfur. Phosphorus has it is a 3p5, 3p3. In the outer shell, it has 3p3 stable half-filled electronic configuration. What is the configuration of phosphorus? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. Because of the stable half-filled electronic configuration, its ionization potential, ionization enthalpy of phosphorus is greater than that of the next element, sulfur, even though it is smaller in size. This is how ionization enthalpy varies across a period. Now let us see the variation of ionization enthalpy down the group. When it comes to the trend of ionization enthalpy down the group, see, down the group atomic size increases. So with increase in atomic size, with increase in atomic radius, see, already shielding effect is increasing. So as shielding effect increases, atomic radius is also increasing. Ionization enthalpy decreases. Down the group, and there are some exceptions also. Example, boron family, carbon family. In boron family and carbon family, there are some exceptions, and there are so many numerical questions and multiple choice questions possible from this concept, which we will discuss in our JEE and NEET level coaching.